Hey, so this is part 3 of Trespasser. We're going to get the Exalted Council started and see what they have to say about our Inquisition. Once you start the Exalted Council, you can no longer get your cutscenes. Sucks, but, there you go.
Thank you, Your Holiness. Now, Artigan, as to your concerns...
The Inquisition established an armed presence in Ferelden territory. You outright seized Caer Bronach in Crestwood.
Yes, from bandits. Would you like us to give it back to them?
Your help was appreciated 2 years ago, Inquisitor. Now order has been restored, yet you remain. Invading under pretext of restoring order is exactly what the Grey Wardens did to us centuries ago, and we exiled them. Now the Inquisition is doing the same thing with Grey Wardens in their ranks.
Your concern is ill-founded. The Grey Wardens have proven their worth time and again.
Of course Orlais tolerates this interference. Without the Inquisition, Selene would have neither her throne nor her Elven... Marquise.
Rest assured, Tegan, the Empire of Orlais will not stand idle if the Inquisition oversteps its bounds. Unlike Ferelden, however, Orlais understands that these were the well-intentioned mistakes of a young organization.
An organization in need of a guiding hand. Yours, no doubt.
Pardon me, Inquisitor. Divine Victoria wishes to speak with you in private.
The Divine Victoria? Who is sitting just up there?
Yes, and who was once your spy master. It's a pressing matter, Your Worship.
My apologies. An urgent matter has come to my attention. Ambassador Montillier, can you handle this for a short while?
Of course, Inquisitor.
This is highly irregular.
Perhaps it would be best if we took a short recess. The guard said we should both see this. I believe she was correct. A Canary warrior in full armor. How did he get into the Winter Palace? So, what would the left hand of the Divine see when she looked at this? This is a warrior, not a spy. Part of the Antam, the Canary military. Most of his wounds come from a fight against someone using magic, but at least a few are from a blade. He was badly hurt, separated from his allies, and made it here before he died. But how? Would the Iron Bull know anything about this? I asked, and he is as surprised as we are. Since becoming Tal Vashoth, he has had no contact with his people. He seems frustrated at not knowing more. Deadly mysteries at the Winter Palace. Throw in a Hulla statue and some Caprice coins and it's just like old times. Can Josephine manage the diplomats while I look around? She will be fine. It's all speeches and posturing for the first few days anyway. I will extend the recess as long as possible. I will also have our friends ready themselves for battle if need be. You think that's likely? I think the Exalted Council may be more exciting than we expected.
So like I said, I've only actually played Trespasser once before. Last time Vivienne was the Divine. So it's a little weird to me to see the Divine in my little area looking at dead Kunari and being my spy master with no guards around her, just wearing her most holy outfit. Anyway, so while having a look around, I found a note on Palace Guest that I thought was worth sharing. And of course, another chapter from Hard in Hightown. But to advance the story, we need to run back under our little gazebo area.
It looks like he came down over the railing.
So there's only one of these trellises that you can actually climb. There is a lootable bag on this wooden structure right across from us. And we had to cut because it took me several tries to make that jump. The space in between those beams is empty, so you have to actually land on one of the beams perfectly. And then kind of catwalk down. Very carefully across the way to get cologne. Yay! That's what everybody always wants. Alrighty. Let's see if we can make it. Oh, we did! Yay! So now we can just climb up this one. Up this one. We see the blood. Run in here. Of course, I gotta check for loot first. There we go. Run through here.
An active eluvian. If I'm going through it, I'm not going alone.
Boom. Gotta loot everything. Make a crazy circle around the room looking for loot. And go through the mirror.
This is the crossroads. Morrigan brought me here while showing me the eluvians. I'd forgotten all the colors.
Yep, we are now back in the crossroads, trying to track down why our wounded Canary came this way.
The blood trail leads to this mirror.
Let us see where this Kunari came from.
Elven ruins. I'm not sure we're even in Orlais anymore. Another Kunari, dressed like the one in the Winter Palace.
They must be from the same faction, both girded for war.
We are currently in some Elven ruins, continuing to follow the Kunari's blood trail.
Looking for ruins and dead people. Why do I keep coming back for trips like this?
You return because the cause is greater than yourself, and to keep us humble, you are needed.
What?
While your companions do make some random comments throughout Trespasser, you have these little glowy circles that you click on, and it sparks dialogue with that particular character.
Scorch marks everywhere. This is the work of a mage.
The expended energy is remarkable. I'd say the spell was cast within the past hour.
We need to find out why these Kunari were here and who did this to them. Over there, Kunari. If we want to know why they're here, we've got to get across to that island.
Well, that one's broken. Not gonna do us much good. But... so this is basically just going through mirrors a lot.
A spirit bound when the elves built this place, because that could never go wrong.
What does it want? I'll try Elven. Andaran Atishan Sadaran.
Well, that didn't work. By the way, one of the differences, if you drink from the well of Mythal instead of letting Morgan drink from it, you actually understand what they're saying and you can respond back and they don't attack you, which is helpful for this little bit.
I think that spirit considered us intruders.
Maybe it's all the intruding we did? When we intruded?
It must have been set to guard something. That was like Veilfire. It claimed this was a refuge for elven slaves.
Slaves? Of other elves? The old elves? Pissers.
This whole valley was a sanctuary created by the dreadwolf Fen'Harel. This doesn't make sense. In Dalish legends, Fen'Harel is our god of misfortune. That eluvian only took us a short distance. That's the same lake we saw from the other tower.
So the old elves had many uses for these devices.
Cassandra sounds somewhat uncomfortable with our magic mirrors. Anyway, let's head up the stairs and take a nice look around. Oh, that's right. I wanted to show everyone the murals. They are really pretty. Alright, heading up. There we go. We've also got a mural up here that we paused to take in, or not. There we go. Yeah, that's sort of a pause. Woohoo. Moving on. We have another dead Kunari.
Wounds on the back, no blood on his sword. Someone took him by surprise.
This can't have happened too long ago. The blood's not even dry.
So heading down the opposite stairs briefly, I just found a little something that I wanted to show. Just because it's silly. Kind of like that snowman. There's a sock in a book. I don't know why. I have no idea what the backstory is behind this sock in a book. But there you go.
This is Fen'Harel helping former slaves as a mortal, not a god.
He took great pains to renounce his supposed divinity.
But Fenny helping is bonkers.
To the Dalish, Fen'Harel is the great deceiver. Perhaps that's propaganda begun by the opposing gods.
Down the stairs into a dark elven ruin, because what could go wrong?
This claims the elven gods were just Evanuris, powerful, but completely mortal mages.
Was this the start of an uprising? Freed elven slaves against their former masters?
If that's true, Fen'Harel was teaching these freed slaves the truth about these false gods.
Throughout Trespasser, our anchor is going to act up and start giving us all sorts of problems. here it's useful. We can use it as a light. Later it's gonna be not so
Are you
useful.
all right?
It felt like the anchor stung me. This looks like it fits into that pedestal by the broken bridge.
You can tell it's important when a bunch of spirits appear to defend something. We're headed back to the bridge now, but there's a little bit of loot on a ledge just below us, and if we drop off just carefully enough, there we go. Back at the bridge, we put our artifact on the pedestal. And it raises the bridge.
Kunari!
And we have to fight more Kunari. Yay! Heading inside the sanctuary, and oh yay, more spirit elves! They want to kill us. Again, if you drink from the Well of Mythal, all of these spirit elves are on your side, and they do not try to kill you. This one dude got stuck over here both times I've played, and you have to kind of hop over that and come over here and kill him. Fortunately, I guess because of the bug that causes him not to come out, he doesn't really fight back, so it's not difficult, it just takes a while.
Why did those Kunari attack the Inquisition on sight?
Kunari never act without orders. A commander in the Qun must have given them.
Are you saying the entire Kunari nation wants us dead?
Love how she doesn't answer that and just lets the silence speak for itself. Anyway, up here, to advance further, we need to light the correct veil fire.
That's Fenharel, removing a Dalish elf's Valasleen.
Not Dalish. They weren't Dalish yet, right?
Maybe the markings used to have a different meaning.
If you'll remember, Crithius made a comment to our Inquisitor about wearing a slave markings with pride, and I said that it was explained in a cutscene. It is explained by Solas in a cutscene if you're romancing him, but I forgot that they also reference it here. Essentially, Elven slave owners marked their slaves' faces with their favorite god. And the Dalish could remember or found out that elves had marked faces, but not why. And so for the Dalish to get the Vaseline tattooed on their face is a coming of age, but once upon a time it marked the elf as a slave. Now, the veil fire that I just lit is the one that the Fenharel statue is looking directly at. That lets you move forward.
Hidden weapons. These freed slaves actually fought back against the Evanuris posing as gods.
Elven mages who hoarded power and slaves? One could see parallels to Tevinter's magisters.
The Dalish are going to shit themselves.
Yeah, probably. By the way, if you run this with Iron Bull, he will occasionally try to talk to the Kunari and get them to stand down, and it doesn't really work. Now we are looking for evidence of the Kunari plan.
You know, darling, this place gives me an idea for redoing the small summer breakfast room at Chateau Gislaine.
You have a different breakfast room for every season.
A century ago, it was in fashion to have a different room for every meal and every day of the week. When that fad ended, the Dukes of Gislaine converted most of the rooms to closets. Storage is timeless.
There is some loot upstairs between the wolf's paws that we forgot to grab, so we're gonna have to go grab that before we leave this area. Here is some writing from some of the Kunari.
A note about an unknown intruder coming through an eluvian. They turned spirits against us, then fled.
A mage? They must have fought their way out, then let the spirits finish off the Kunari.
Two parties then. The Kunari, and a mystery agent determined to stop them.
It's been too long since we've traveled together. I've missed it.
Glad you're back, Cassandra. You need a break, and I need you breaking things in front of me.
And here we go. One of the dead Kunari dropped a loot bag that contains their orders and the plan of attack.
This letter says the Kunari came to these ruins because the eluvians connect to Halam Shiral.
A staging ground for an invasion?
It was some sort of infiltration. There's no more details. Come on, we have to warn people about the Kunari's designs on the Winter Palace.
Back up here to loot the wolf. He's got a pretty nice bow. The one Sarah's using is currently better, but it's pretty nice. For whatever reason, the best loot does seem to be in Descent and Jaws of Hakken, and there's not really a lot of show-stopping stuff in this one. However, Trespasser does have the cool fact that the merchants at the Winter Palace sell all of the crafting materials, so if there's something you wanted to make but you were short of the materials on, then you can make it. Now we head back to the Winter Palace to speak with our advisors and warn everyone of the danger.
One dead Kunari was bad enough. Now we have more, and they're hostile.
This makes no sense. The Kunari may not be friendly to the Inquisition, but they have no reason to attack us.
They also have no reason to be here, or using eluvians at all.
I've had the mirror placed under guard for now, Your Holiness.
Cullen, please just call me Liliana.
Yes, Your... Liliana.
It appears the relative peace and quiet of the last 2 years is coming to an end.
First the Blight, then Mages and Templars, then Corypheus, and now this. Can't we go 10 years without the world falling to pieces?
We must ensure that the Kunari do not disrupt the negotiations. The Exalted Council is in a very delicate state.
I'm certain you can soothe the nobles' ruffled feathers while we solve the real problem.
Not when the Inquisitor insults everyone present by walking out in the middle of the talks. Our only advantage is that Orlais and Ferelden are divided in goal and grievance. If they unite against us, Divine Victoria will have no choice but to support their claims. We could lose everything.
I know we're asking a lot of you, Ambassador. I promise we won't make this any harder for you than necessary.
My apologies. I will attend to the Exalted Council.
And while Josie does that, we will investigate.
We, Your Holiness?
You do, Josie?
I'll head back to the crossroads. We need to find out what the Kunari are doing and why they attacked.
And I'll have a quiet word with our honor guard.
We're now back on the Winter Palace grounds. We do get to talk to our companions kind of one last time, both about what has happened as well as a few follow-up conversations.
Everything going all right so far?
I don't understand how you just become a Viscount.
When the ruler of a marcher state dies and there's no heir, the nobles of the city pick a new ruler. Only none of Kirkwall's nobles actually want the throne. Most of them think it's cursed, actually. They can't leave it empty, though, or some other state like Starkhaven or Ansburg will probably invade. I complained about the empty office when it interfered with my reconstruction efforts. They took that as volunteering.
I'm surprised no one from the Council of Heralds wants your autograph.
You just missed them. Duke Cyril keeps asking me for spoilers for my next book.
So, Bran used to be Viscount, and now he just follows you around?
Provisional Viscount.
Pretty much.
With a permanent appointee, finally, in the Viscount's office, I am free to return to my post as Seneschal.
He means my true calling is arrogantly telling people they can't talk to the Viscount. He's good at it, too.
We'll talk more another time.
I'll be here if you need me.
The Guardian Spirit stayed, not bound, but biding, because he asked. He knows how to speak, so spirits listen. His friend had to die because he thought they were people. A slow arrow breaks in the sad wolf's jaws. The spirits have fled, flying, fluttering, fast to the farthest fade. They're afraid of the veil tearing again. They made bodies from the earth, and the earth was afraid. It fought back, but they made it forget. Sometimes the cow takes your gold. Hello.
Hello, and shh. I'm trying to figure out why everyone is acting so weird. I mean, besides because Kunari assassins and everything. You see it, right? There's something going with the elf servants. Makes sense after that ruin, right?
It's been a couple of years. How's everything sitting with you?
It's weird meeting back up and seeing everyone get their grey. First time I've been anywhere long enough to get fond of things. Leliana's friendly when she wants to be. My people sometimes do things for her, like I do for you. All that blood and thunder just so everyone can live well an hour once around. Good lesson, I suppose, if there had to be one.
When you start going on about elves, it's hard to tell if it's about them or you.
Yes, you're ever so clever. Arse. Point is, the servants have no complaints. No asking for a Jenny. They serve this lot, but don't want them done for anything.
So, the nobles are nice, and the servants are happy?
Two things that have never been true. Mark that I said it. We're fighting Kunari, but something else is on the up.
I suppose you've a lot to say about that elven ruin, about the creators.
They're not even demons, just big magey knobs punching down. And yes, the shits who use them to make me feel broken can still eat it. But always waiting for that fight is way too much work. It's like doing half the hurt for them. Maybe we're old now, but I'm tired of it. We've new fights to look forward to. We always do, seems like.
We'll talk later.
Count on seeing you, yeah?
Wish I hadn't burned all my contacts with the Ben Hastrath. Be nice to have some idea what they're doing right now.
Yeah, but then you'd be on their side, Chief.
Yes, but I'd know things. I like knowing things.
The Chargers have been with the Inquisition for a while now. Is everyone still happy?
No complaints, Your Worship. The Inquisition's been good to us. We'd disband and join the Inquisition officially, but the Chief gets this sad dog look when we suggest it.
The loyalty is touching, Krem.
I'll talk to you later.
Anytime, boss.
A note from the cooks. Why it's in the foundry, I have no idea. But it is kind of fun.
Need me for anything?
What do you think's going to happen at the Exalted Council?
Maker, I have no idea. Politics always makes my head spin. The Inquisition shouldn't have to give in whenever some prissy noble gets their knickers wedged somewhere.
You're more comfortable being called by your real name now?
Comfortable? Not quite yet. I didn't want to be Rainier for such a long time. To be quite frank, he was an ass. But I've changed. And reclaiming my name has allowed me to reconnect with people I haven't seen in years. Family. It wouldn't have happened without you.
It's nice to have everyone back in the same place again.
I have to admit I missed it. What does it mean when we need a huge diplomatic talk or the world ending just to bring us together? I got the chance to have a few drinks with Sarah. Miss that girl. It's still a little awkward talking to Cassandra. But the commander appears to have forgiven me. Finally.
Until later.
Take care.
We are going to end things here. In the next one, we're going to pick up right where we left off. We're going to talk to a few more companions and then move on to the next chapter in our Kunari plot investigation.